Today we're going to have a talk about Microsoft 365 and how we use it at Finalist to integrate it in Drupal in all kinds of ways. Let's start off with a little bit about myself and the company I work for. I'm Fabian de Rijk. I'm from Holland. That's my user on Drupal.org. I've been there for about 16 years right now. So it's a pretty long time. Don't ask me anything about Symfony, Laravel. I don't know anything about it. Just Drupal. That's it. At Finalist, we make websites or web applications for health and education companies like schools, universities, hospitals. We are a supporter of the Drupal community. We organize events in Holland. We sponsor events in Holland. We are a core and contrib maintainer, so some people within our company help out with maintaining Drupal and modules. And we are a Dutch Drupal Association member, and we have people in the board of the Dutch Drupal Association. And now the fun stuff. What are we going to talk about? This is about it. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not going to read it to you, because this is it. Yeah, why Drupal and Microsoft 365? For us, we noticed that some customers of ours worked with, back then, Office 365. Excuse me if I'm going to call it Office 365 because they changed the name recently. But some companies used it and they used Drupal, and they didn't really know how to make those two connect. They used the Office SSO, a single sign-on, but that was about it. And we think that Drupal and Microsoft can work together. So how do we do that? We at Finalist are creating a social internet or community platform where people can work together on documents or by uploading all kinds of documents to SharePoint, to locations. And we thought, well, Microsoft 365 is the correct place to store all that stuff. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous for some reason. I don't know why. Excuse me for that. To do that and to connect Drupal to Microsoft 365, we created a module a few years back, which leverages the advantages of both Drupal and Microsoft 365. It's more a connector instead of a module that creates all kinds of functionalities for you. You can use it to build functionalities yourselves. And how do we do that? We use the Graph API that Microsoft gives us. The Graph API is super powerful because it's a gateway to almost all data living in the ecosystem that is Microsoft. And yeah, we can use it for a lot of cases that I'm going to show you. This is starting to be fun. Not the business side, not Microsoft, just Drupal. That's where my heart lives. So we need to install the module. Pretty easy. Composer require Drupal/O365, and that's it. Within Microsoft, we need to register an app. The app is just like you register an app back in the day with Twitter to log in, or Facebook to log in, or Google to log in. It's the same thing for Azure. You create a name, a redirect URL, who can log in. That's it. It gives you a secret client ID token, all kinds of stuff. And this is just to make sure that you have the permissions and you are able to connect from the Drupal side to the Microsoft side. To be able to get data from Microsoft, you need to have permissions. While creating the app in Microsoft, you need to specify which permissions you would like to give users to get or send data to Microsoft. Those are called scopes. It can be kind of hard to find the correct scopes to use because it's it's a long list, a lot of stuff you're probably never going to use. So it's hard to find the correct scope to use, so you don't give users too much permissions, but also not too little. So they don't see the data you want to see, or they don't have the permissions to upload data, for instance. The module is built in a way that those scopes are specified via a custom hook. And that also gives us the option to show which permissions are needed for the module and all submodules to use and to get data. It's just a page in the report section of Drupal, and it shows you the list, so you can easily check the checkboxes of the permissions you would like. This is just a helper function to make your life easier for you. When everything is said and done, it's as easy as this in the settings PHP. We don't want to save client data, like the client ID and the secret, in database, so we put it in the settings PHP, so it can differ on different environments. Just add this for the client ID, client secret, and tenant ID. That's data that's given from Microsoft. Redirect login, so when people log in, they get redirected to this certain page. And the callback, and this is the callback where people get sent to when they aren't logged in yet in Drupal, but are logged in Microsoft. Somehow this needs to be specified. It's still something on my to-do list to see why, because some things in Drupal are still a mystery for me as well. Now let me show you some examples. And in the module we created, there are some examples added for you, which you can use to, well, just use them, just show them on the website, some blogs, for instance. But there are also like starter kits, so you can see how we, for instance, made a blog that gets the last amount of last 5, I think, emails from Outlook. And I'm going to show you some well, according to the notes, random order, but it's not really random because we want to start with login. As you can see here, there's an extra button called Login with Microsoft Office. In a newer version, it says Microsoft 365, so it's an old screenshot, excuse me. You can use that, or you can use a local Drupal login if you want. There are options in the module where you can specify if you want to automatically redirect users to Office. Then you get a sort of extra login page for your local Drupal account, for your admin, for instance. Or you can use both in the same screen. With the login with Microsoft button, you get redirected to Microsoft itself. You need to log in there, you get redirected back to Drupal, and you're logged in Drupal and logged in Office. And we know who you are. Well, Drupal knows who you are. What is available in the module as well is user data synchronization. So all data that is available in your profile at Microsoft, mostly the data that's available in the Active Directory, like your name, profile picture from Teams, your groups, the teams you belong to, all that data can be synced back to Drupal. So we can automatically assign you to certain groups if you're using the groups module. We can fill in this example, your first and your last name that we get from the Active Directory. We can sync your user picture, and that's synced every time you log into Drupal. So when your name changes, for instance, when you get married, it automatically gets synced back to Drupal when you log in. So you don't need to change it on multiple locations. Same goes with your user profile picture. If you change it in Teams, it will also get changed in Drupal itself. And again, this is sort of an example which you can use to get more data from Microsoft to your user. Then a rather basic example, just simple links to the Office applications. I don't know if anybody looked at SharePoint recently, but it's a bit of a hassle some now and then to find the correct links to applications. Especially for us, at our company, some custom links are added as well in the navigation bar. I just can't find my way to those applications. So we created a block that links to certain applications. Really easy. This works without any Office login as well. So Microsoft Teams. I'm going to do a demo as well, where I can show you this in real time. But what we did, we made the possibility for you to send messages from Drupal to Teams. So I can, for instance, there's my colleague Boris. I'll send him a chat later on, but I can say, well, send a message to Boris from his account, and he gets it in Teams. It isn't a two-way, so I don't see my messages here, but it can be built. That's if it's available in the Graph API, it's available in Drupal. Another thing is that we created a group submodule in our module. And what that does is it gives you an option to select which group or which team in Microsoft you would like to link with a group in Drupal. And that gives you the option to automatically create a link from that group to a specific channel in Teams, or to get the documents that are uploaded in Teams to that channel. This example doesn't give you the option to upload documents as well, but it's possible, again, because it's possible in the Graph API. For one of our customers, they wanted to be able for their students to upload documents up to 4 gigabytes. We created it. So that's something you can do. Another simple thing, which I will show you later on, is in the demo, is that you can call users from Drupal. Directly start a Teams call with a certain user, for instance. This is also part of our standard module. We expose a block that shows you the upcoming 5 appointments in your calendar. Again, pretty easy, but it gives, for us in the environments that we create, it gives a lot of meaning, and it's just a one-stop shop. You can see what your calendar is. You don't need to open Outlook. You see your calendar, you see your email, you see everything. You can even join the meetings directly from Drupal. Like I said before, we can show you your emails. For now, the default only uses your inbox. Like you know, you can create multiple folders in Outlook, and you can automatically create rules that puts some emails in certain folders. The demo modules only use the inbox, but you can use other folders as well. But it shows you the most recent emails, and it shows you the unread emails. When you click on an item, it opens Outlook in the web interface and opens the email itself. Sending of emails isn't created in the examples, but it's an option. It's in the Graph API. You can send emails. We didn't make all the functionality public. So we want to make money as well. We're a commercial company, so we created a base module which you can use to leverage all kinds of functionality. We'll create all kinds of functionality for yourself, or contact us and maybe we can help you. I needed to say that just because my boss is probably watching, and now he's happy. What do we have more? We have more submodules. I'm not going to show you everything. Just download the module, check it yourself. You can search for contacts in Microsoft. Those are the contacts, your colleagues, which are also available in Teams, for instance. And you can send direct messages to them, call them, whatever. You can search for files in SharePoint. We created a SharePoint field. I don't know if that works anymore because I haven't tested it lately in Drupal 10. But I think it should work. We also created a CK Editor plugin, but that's for CK Editor 4 still. And we haven't updated it for CK Editor 5. And there's more functionality that we give you with the module itself. And now let's show you some real Drupal. This is always the scary part. Will it work? Oh, it reloads. Oh, you don't see it. Now you see it. This is the login page. I added this. I checked the checkbox that says don't show me the local Drupal login form. So it only shows the login with Microsoft 365 button, just to make it clean for the demo. So we log in with Microsoft 365. It gives you the standard login page from Microsoft. We don't have any influence in that. I'm gonna log in as myself. And now it shows me a dashboard with the stuff I told you before. So we have the unread emails here. When I open it, for instance, this one, it opens Outlook. It shows me the application links. I've disabled some, so it doesn't show all, but it's a setting in the module itself. It shows the recent emails on the right side. It shows my upcoming appointments. I don't have any team appointments here. Otherwise, it shows a button start in Teams or something like that. It shows my recent files. Those are the recent files I opened in SharePoint. And it shows files that are shared with me or that I shared with other people. Again, these are blocks that the module itself or submodules give you already out of the box. So you can just add them and they work. They probably need some theming, but they work. Something that we created, or we added to our intranet, is that for some users that are logged in through SSO, through single sign-on, we show their status. So for here example, for Wiebe, you see the status that he isn't available. I'm online. Boris is online. Wouter is away. Those are the same statuses you see when you look at people in Teams. This is something that we get from the Graph API. We built some REST endpoints and some JavaScripts ourselves to add this asynchronously. But it's something you can retrieve from Microsoft. And as you can see, we also have some data that we get from Microsoft. We are able to call a user with Teams. It just opens the Teams app. We can chat with Teams. This opens a Teams chat. We can send a chat directly to the user. Drupal camp, send. And hopefully Boris got the message. Kijk, see. Demo at Drupal camp. This is the chat to Boris. And if data is available in Microsoft, we also have the telephone links to the user. So when we open this on a mobile phone, we can directly call someone just through an old phone. This is a group. Just standard Drupal groups, which is connected to a Microsoft 365 team. I should have opened this page before, because then it was cached. What it does, when we want to connect it to a team on Microsoft 365, it gets all the available teams for a user. And for me, it's a lot. So it takes some time to load this page. So this is not something you do every hour. This is probably something you do once or twice, or when you create a group. But yeah, this page can take some time to load. As you can see, these are all the teams I'm a member of, and I just can say, well, connected to a certain group. I connected it to Drupal Camp Gent. So when I do a view and I do open group in Microsoft Teams, it opens Teams and it opens the Drupal Camp Gent channel. But the nice thing is, show group files. When I do that, it loads all the files that are available in the Files tab in the team as well, in the channel. And if I want to, I can open the file directly. What we didn't do is create something like this. We didn't make Word. We just linked to Word because we think, well, it's not that good, but it's good enough. And we don't want to make it again. Microsoft does a pretty good job, and let's just keep it at the integration. A nice thing we have as well. Oh, wrong link. That was a group link. This is an event in Drupal, just content. Normal node, event with a date and a location and some body text, and I created it. But we added this link. When we click it, this link is now, or this event has now been created in my Outlook calendar. So on an intranet, you can just easily browse through events, save them in your calendar, and there they are with the title, correct location, correct date. You can even specify which fields you want to use as a body field for the calendar itself, or for the body in the calendar item. And what we can do when we create a new item, if you are the organizer, you create the node in Drupal, but you also want to have it automatically in your calendar. We can say save in my calendar, and maybe even add some attendees which I want to have in the event itself. They automatically get a notification, email, and they get put in their calendar as well. And just to show you some other cool stuff, I haven't configured this in this demo. This is pretty recent. What it does is we can map groups in Microsoft with roles in Drupal. For instance, a lot of our customers have a group students, which the students are a member of, a group teachers, which the teachers are a member of, and we want to give those people a role according to the group they have in Microsoft. So we can easily say, well, your group in the Microsoft, it's called teacher, and we want to map it to a role, specific role in Drupal. When you get when that role is being removed from your user, we also remove the role in Drupal when you log in again, just to keep it safe. I think that was the demo part. And now some examples on how we or how you can create stuff for yourself. I hope this is readable. I think so. I already told you in the beginning about the scopes. We have a hook, which you can use if you build some functionality to upload files, for instance. You can use this hook and add the files.read or files.write scope, for instance. This way, those scopes are added to the user when they log in, and they get those permissions from Microsoft. We try to make it as easy as possible. So we created a service to get and post data from Drupal to Microsoft. And it's as easy as this. The get graph data /me, that's an endpoint in Microsoft. You can get all those endpoints in the documentation from Microsoft Graph API. They also have a, I can't get the name, but you can also have examples on their website as well. You can use your login and see data. This is really easy. Just give me my data. Give me my name, for instance. Where it says /me, you can also use more intricate endpoints, like getting data from groups, getting files, getting all kinds of stuff. Post data. It's pretty easy as well. When you know which data to put in a post, you always have to find out what it exactly is, but the documentation is pretty clear. You can easily send graph data. For example, me/events. This creates a DrupalCamp Gent calendar item in my calendar. I can also add other attendees, which then get an email that they are invited for it as well. The send graph data is also used for uploading files. I don't have an example because it was too much code to put it in on a screen like this. But to upload large files, Microsoft has an endpoint to create an upload session. And you can use that upload session to asynchronously upload large files. So you just upload small chunks of the file until the file is completely uploaded. And then Microsoft says, well, okay, thank you. And it's available in SharePoint. For example, we do that for those 4 GB files of the students we want to upload. Let's see about the time. Oh. So the roadmap. The module itself is in development. We use it for our customers, and sometimes we find bugs, sometimes other people find bugs. And it's still in development for new features, better features. Some of the things are on the roadmap. For example, a new SDK. Microsoft released a new SDK, I think 2-3 months back. And it's completely different than the old one we're still using, but it's a lot better. But it also needs a lot of changes in our module. So we need time, we need money, we need help, probably. We also want better documentation because that's everything. That's something we're working on. And there's we want to use multiple connectors. And what that means is that there's already an issue in the issue queue that's been active for quite some time now. And what it means is that you can use multiple Microsoft apps to log into one Drupal site. So you can use, for example, company A, B, and C, all three have a different Active Directory, but they still can use their own Active Directory to log into Drupal. We're a long way with it. It works, but we need to make a plan on how to release it because there are a lot of changes in configuration. For instance, how you put your tenant and client ID and client secret in your settings PHP. And something we want to do is create more and better examples for just to help everybody. If it's either in documentation or in submodules of the module, we don't know yet, but we want to do that. And we want to create some REST endpoints. A lot of Drupal sites are headless now. We don't use it, but well, I can imagine you want to retrieve data from Microsoft through a REST endpoint. And those aren't available yet. So where can we find it? It's pretty easy. Drupal.org project/O365. We still have the old Office 365 name. That's how it used to be called. Or search for Microsoft 365 connector. There you can download. There are the links to documentation. You can also find my contact info there. And if you want to help, please let me know. Either via issues in the issue queue, patches, or if you want to be a co-maintainer, let me know, see what we can do. And I'm 10 minutes left, I think. So any questions, or if you want to contact me or take a look at the slides, scan the QR code, and you'll come to my link tree. Any questions? Ooh, sorry.
So yeah, my question is mostly this seems like a quite heavy module. Is the module itself, and is there like a lightweight package of it that just would only, for example, or are there plans for it that would only provide, for example, the service that would actually take away from the work that one we need to do to integrate the SDK, which is often, for example, we have a different way of approach to front end.
Mm-hmm.
Which requires us most of the time to just rely on services provided by modules instead of, well, all of the other things that comes along with it. So it's mostly, is there like a lightweight version that doesn't provide all of the blocks and the stuff that we don't need for our specific case?
I can show you what we did. For sorry. For all functionality like groups, calendar, we all created submodules. So you can enable those or keep those disabled. Only 2 modules are actually required. The O365 module itself and the SSO module, just because we need to have you logged in through single sign-on. If you keep all those others disabled, it's pretty lightweight. You still have the code in your repository or in your site, but they're not enabled.
So that means you still have the services, for example, for, let's say you don't have contacts enabled, you still have the service where you can call, for example, a contacts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all those submodules like OneDrive and Context and Outlook Mail, Outlook Calendar are just examples of how we think you should get your data.
All right.
Any other questions? No? Okay. I think that was it then. Thank you.